Welcome to the shop. I'm Jared.
And I'm Tavarish.
And this is Wrench Every Day. I thought you were going to take it.
What? Okay. Well, let's try this over again.
All right. Welcome to the shop. I'm Jared.
And I'm Tavarish.
And this is Wrench Every Day. I still thought you were taking it. Anyway, I'm Jared.
And I'm Tavarish. And this is Wrench Every Day.
This is our 2008 Lexus IS-F donor car. It's not a rebuild project. We are going to harvest its usable organs to put into your Lexus SC300 and turn it into what?
Well, hold on. When you said harvest, that it just got a little dark.
Whoa.
It's like we're taking the beating heart out of something, and it's not really like that. We're trying to make this into a sort of spiritual successor to what that car should have been. So I have a Lexus SC. I bought a really clean one. I bought a 1997, but that car needs a little bit of work, and also it needs a lot more power. And this is the power that car needs. This is a 5-liter V8, 8-speed automatic transmission, shifts super quick, and this is like a really, really fast car. But to be honest, I'm not a big fan of this body style, mainly because he has one.
And Dwayne, the editor, has one.
Yeah, so that's too many.
And there's a lot of just ISs out there. And, of course, on your SC, we could have just done Turbo 2J.
Yeah.
Like everyone else has. And
like we have.
Yeah, that there's several of. And
yeah.
That's not fun. I think, I agree, with the idea of building something that's never existed, building it better and like it would be from the factory, which is this amazing power plant.
Yeah, so in the previous episode, we took measurements of this engine bay and then that engine bay, and we kind of put them together and realized that engine bay has about an inch more room than we have here. So everything should fit, but now is going to be the time when we literally take everything out of this car.
Yeah, we aren't just pulling the engine because we want everything to work as factory as possible. Gauges. To us, a project's finished when there's no more error lights, and
tape doesn't count. If you just tape over the error light, that doesn't count.
Or pulling the bulb. That's not acceptable. So we're grafting as much modern tech into that chassis, and we don't know what it's going to take, and we need the space. So it's every wiring harness, every sensor, everything we can is getting yanked out of the car and put into the totes, that's a lot of work. It's
going to be a lot of work, so I believe that we should probably get to work. And when we say we, Jared, you go ahead. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch some TV. I'm tired.
It always ends up this way.
No, it doesn't. Stop complaining. Okay, so the car is in the air, and now we can see all the room for activities that we've made for this engine, and the brakes. The brakes are pretty big.
Yeah, they're one of the best features of the IS-F. I make good use of mine, and I had nothing to do with this, but whoever owned this before
also got pretty good use out of it. This is lipped very, very poorly.
Oh, there's no pad left.
Oh, there's no pad left?
I don't know that this was from sported driving or just frugal driving, and
Frugal driving?
Going metal to metal and wearing your pads out. Don't do this.
Yes. Well, what we can do is we can still save these rotors just because we need to know what the fitment is on the SC. So we can save them and then get a new set when it comes time to actually put them in for realsies. Now, this is a spacer, and this is just to make the wheels come out a little bit better.
Yeah.
And they look better.
It makes it look better, but it affects scrub radius, and there's all kinds of...
You're not going to affect scrub radius much on something like that.
With 1 inch, yes, you are. It's 2 inches.
I don't think this is going to affect scrub radius much at all.
You're going to claim an inch doesn't matter.
An inch does not matter in scrub radius, no.
An inch always matters. We are going to start unbolting the suspension. The way we're going to pull it is engine, transmission, front cradle, everything out of the bottom like it was assembled.
And it's going to lie right there,
yep,
just on that little pile of sand.
Yep, sawdust.
Sand.
Okay. But we're going to get everything unbolted. We are going to have to remove the exhaust. Now, these cars have catalytic converters that are very, very valuable.
Okay.
For whatever reason, people pay absurd money for these catalytic converters.
Now, is that a thing where they used to pay absurd money for catalytic converters and now they don't anymore, or now they pay even more absurd money?
It's back up. So it was high, low, and now the recyclers are back up high. Support the RPM Act. This is a race car for competition use, so we don't have to worry about all emissions. And if your congressmen are mean and don't support race car conversions, our whole industry's doomed. So yell at your congressman, political statement over. But we will be unbolting and finding out a very common modification on these cars is to remove that pipe and then take a really big rod and hammer out a cat. So they're either completely worthless or they're going to pay for your headers.
Okay. Can you tell?
There might be something in there.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's take them out and see.
60%.
60%. Okay. Let's take them out and see.
We had to cut the exhaust off. What do you think, Freddie?
I think that this is... I don't know.
I'm
both scared and very excited.
Are you a cat or dog person?
I don't know what that means.
You're a cat person.
Hey, look at that!
You actually got a pair of ISF cats that bring quite a big dollar on a recycler's market. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
This one, Dwayne needed a passenger side because his is cracked, which they all do, and I was thinking maybe that would be good for him. And no, as much as it rattled around as we were cutting it, it's got the crack that they all do. So,
Dwayne can pay for that. Now, I'm just money bags over here with these cats. What am I gonna do with all this money?
Buy headers, because you're gonna need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Since now that you're not racing the Super, you're racing the ISF, which. It's going to be faster than the SC.
Moving on.
So now where we're at is we will be removing our drive shaft, our shifter, and one more look around. And then it's just some suspension parts, and we're going to liberate the most important part of the swap.
Yeah, which is the engine and transmission and also probably a lot of other things. Well, the suspension and in front stuff, right?
Well, the brakes are more important than this. Again, we want to use the SC suspension. The ISFs and any IS, these bushings are not very good. There's companies that make good upgrades, but you're just not able to set up a good track alignment like you can on the SC. So the control arm setup is better on the SC, so we're keeping that.
I'm not using my car as a race car, though.
Right.
It's not a race
still
car.
better on the street. These burn up their inside tires real bad because when you set a GoPro and drive, the amount that your control arm like will move around is quite alarming. It's impressive how much that flexes and moves. That's why I've got the RR Racing poly bushings. There's, again, a couple other companies have options to make it better, but what you have already is better than anything we can throw at it from here. So let's quit talking and work.
Okay. I wasn't saying anything, but let's do it.
You were saying it with the way you were looking at me.
Okay. I want to work, yes. Let's get this engine out. So now there is even more room for activities. This engine's ready to come out, right?
Yeah, we have 12 bolts left, trans mount and engine cradle mounts, and we are going to get the best part of an IS-F out.
Well, did we get the fluids and stuff out of this engine?
So, we're keeping the transmission and the engine oil in it. We drained the coolant. That was the first thing we did. Went ahead and opened up the radiator and drained it.
The car came with a pre-drained cooling system.
But we were talking, there's no easy way for these things to leak. This is the one spot the transmission would leak from. And I prefer trying to store vehicles with fluid in it, but we're establishing now that there's fluid in it.
Well, I'd like to drain it just because if we have to like tilt it or anything, transmission is the first one to just go.
It's sealed.
It's
a bolt-on output shaft.
Yes, I've heard this many times before, and I've cleaned up a lot of oil and transmission fluid from sealed systems.
Listen, there's nothing sealed about that 3-rotor.
Okay, there's nothing sealed about a lot of engines that we took out. Remember that 2J? That was sealed too, and that just made a
Well, no, that
huge
was
mess.
at the flywheel bolts were out of it. So
Yeah.
let's just not do that.
Okay, sure.
Engine and transmission, those stay married.
I don't know. I feel like they need a little vacation away from each other. Okay, so we're gonna put this onto a pallet here, and then just lower this completely, and then take off all the bolts, right?
Yeah, in theory, let's do it live, right?
Do it live?
Yeah, why not?
With one hand on the camera.
Huh?
One hand on the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out!
I was watching to make sure it wasn't on the lock. Watch the Jackie Jack handle. Maybe we could Jackie Jack a little more. I'm just hearing grunts. That's kind of normal from your room.
Yep. So, just gonna move this back a little bit.
Don't forget you're catching the transmission too.
Yeah, but if I don't do that, then you catch the engine on the jack.
Okay. Alright. Let's get all the height you can.
All the what?
Height. All the height you can.
That's not what you said first.
It is what I said.
That's not.
Listen, don't make fun of people with impediments.
You don't have an impediment. You just said something wrong. Okay, I think we're all the way up.
Are you sure?
Nope.
Say, are you in bypass mode?
We're good. Yep. We are bypassing.
That's all the way.
That's all the way.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, one thing I can do, or we can just keep lowering it. It's fine. Keep lowering it.
Oh. That looks like it has weight.
It does have weight.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought you said it was done jacking.
It was. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
So, who's getting underneath the car?
Not it.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Nope. Not it.
Rock, paper, scissors. Come on. No. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right. Winner gets under the car.
Nope. That's
You
not how it
established
works.
those rules already.
I did not. No. Get into the car, Jared.
No, I'll just pick it back up.
And just
Let it fall.
okay.
It is almost about to pop free, and then we lift the car away from it. 3 more turns. Probably more than 3, but it's close. There we come.
Am I correct in saying that this is the first time anybody's ever done this? With the intention of putting this into another Lexus to make an SC F or anything F, really. Even the IS guys don't really do this very often. I haven't seen any like ISF conversions.
They're few and far between. If people go through the effort, they usually run the V12.
I just thought of something. This has removable front section. The SC does not.
The subframe?
The subframe. The subframe.
No, subframe will do the exact same thing and drop out the bottom.
Right, but we don't know how this fits in the subframe.
No, but we're gonna have to go up the bottom.
Up the bottom.
Up the bottom. It's not going in the front ways or top ways. It's bottom only.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that because I don't know if that's gonna necessarily work, but okay.
I mean, it's got to. That's how they were built at the factory.
Yeah, but nobody's ever built one of these from the factory.
Okay.
You push the button and I'll tell you what's
You
what's
just need to
catching.
watch the steering shaft right here, which is already kind of caught a little.
Okay,
So
so
pick
yeah.
back up a little. That was the only thing we were worried about. Everything else.
Well, if we pick it back up a little bit and then just watch your hands. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it back. There we go.
Wait. Okay.
Steering shaft is out.
Yeah. Oh, it fully separated. Okay. Here, just keep going forward. Let me go up. Yeah, it gets tight. The bent-in frame rails.
Yep. Stop.
Why?
Just checking. I just want to make sure.
Remember, questionable. You just send it.
No, you don't send it.
You always.
I think we're good. Aha! It.
Ooh,
Look at that. Woo!
That's a lot to fit in a little hole.
It's I mean, honestly, it's not that bad considering like we've done a Bentley before
Oh, no,
on
absolutely.
my channel, and this is.
But you had more engine bay on the Bentley.
So my main concern here is this guy. That is going to be a concern because this thing is huge.
Yeah, the bell housing area is big. It's a little bit taller. People fit the GM TH400 in the trans tunnels, so
I mean, we're going to have to get real cozy with a hammer in there, but I think this will work.
Oh, and we are definitely doing the valley plate reseal.
Okay.
If you look, can we see enough light in there? See all that pink crusty?
Yeah, that's all coolant.
That's the coolant, and most of these engines will eventually have that leak, and it was the silicone that they initially used would break down from the coolant. So we do get to pull the intake manifold off of this and go through that reseal process, which we need to cross our fingers. Sometimes the direct injection injectors get stuck and break. A mixture of the coolant kind of congealing around it is what can cause that, but lots of lube and gentle touch, and it can work.
So this is the AA80E transmission, and this is the 8-speed direct shift. Has lockup and torque converter, 2nd through 8th gear.
Correct.
So
yeah, once you're in 2nd gear, it's basically full-time lockup, and that's what makes it so good and so fast. Is you're not losing a lot of power through the transmission, and because there's no torque converter spool up, it's basically an engaged clutch. It's so brisk and so much fun.
So let's look at what we have here. This actually is pretty clean. I mean, obviously this has never been taken apart before.
Right.
But I've never seen a car, when we take it apart, that, the frame rails are relatively clean. It's not full of crap and crud. So it's also not rusted at all. There's no rust anywhere. So it's kind of it's a little bit, bittersweet that we're getting rid of this car because it is a good car. I mean, it just needs like a little bit here, and then that's it.
Well, there's underneath, I found a little more crinkle through the unibody that it most likely would end up with an entire frame stick and inner fender or inner apron assembly, and by the time you've done that, you'll never recoup the cost.
Dude, this is for YouTube, so you can slap some fenders on there and then be like, this baby's done.
Right. I love the ISF platform. I love the F platform. It's sad sending one to pasture, but
we're really not. I mean, everything that makes it an F is right there,
yeah, exactly.
And that's going on to a very fulfilling life.
Yeah, so amazing and cool that it'll be okay.
So this is out, and we're not done yet, right? Not even close.
No, if you notice, there's still a lot of wiring, a lot of interior, because we want to graft as much of the electronics in, and while the dash is bad, the tabs may be able to be cut out and then plastic welded into the SC dash, which gives us the way to kind of mount everything factory. So we have a lot more electronics to pull.
Yep.
But that sounds like a morning job. So
yeah.
Ooh, morning. It's the next day.
Oh, you're just the best at
sound effects.
Yes.
I am surprised that it works because this was an aftermarket wire accessory, and that's the only thing I found chewed so far.